All right, class, let's go. Welcome back. We're on to video number 2 of our chess set project. So I'm going to walk you through the beginning, how to sketch, and some of the on shapes. So in this example, I'm going to use the Batman versus Joker set. Just happens to be the set that I have with me. So if you remember in the last video, we talked about standard parts and sub-assemblies. So in this case, the standard part in our set is the base. So if we go back to our project, the second step is sketching the standard parts and then the tops, and that's our sketch component. So I'm going to start with the pawn. So trying to sketch this base here. So from an on-shape standpoint or from a development standpoint, really there's two parts. It's a circle, so we're going to kind of do a modified multi-view. Most importantly, we need a top-down view. So I'm going to create that here. And I'm just going to trace the circle. Not the best at drawing circles without a compass, so there's that. And then I'm also going to do a side view. Now I could trace this. I'm going to trace kind of the bottom just to kind of give it the full length or width. Then I'm going to kind of freehand this a little bit. So in this case, it goes up a smidge. Yeah, it's a scientific term there for y'all. Goes up a smidge, kind of goes in a little bit, comes back out, has a little rib, goes up, has another little rib, and then goes across. Goes down, has this rib, goes down, and then kind of comes out and has this little chunkier base. So it looks kind of like that. It's pretty rough, but hey, for this purpose it works. So as I'm thinking through this, got my CAD hat on. We got circles. We got a couple different levels of circles, so need to do this as a reverse engineer project. Dial calipers probably work a little bit better for specificity or accurate measurements, but to get this kind of close, my diameter on this base is about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to draw my diameter line. Diameter 1.5. My overall height is right about 1 inch. One point zero. All right, so now let's kind of measure off some of these little smaller parts. The bottom base is just a hair under 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to mark it as 1/4 just to have something here. .25. The next little component starts at we're a 32nd past 1/4, so it'll be 9/32. So this is at 9/32. That bump is only about 1/4 of an inch long, or I'm sorry, 1/32 of an inch long. So this is at 1032. I could simplify that, but trying to do this a little on the quicker side, but it'd be 5/16. All right, the last little bump ridge starts at a 30-second past 3/4. So 8, 16, 24, 25, 30 seconds. 25, 32. It's only 1/4 or a 32nd of an inch, so 26, 32. So if I truly wanted to make this, those are all my measurements. I would label this. This is my pawn base. Now for my back row base, we've got basically the same circle, so we'll trace it again. We know it's 1.5 inches. In this case, it's a little bit taller. I'm going to freehand the side again. So it goes up and has another little rib, straight up, rib. I'm going to draw our diameter lines again, 0, 1.5. I'll measure these off real quick. I want to be accurate for the video. We're got the same 1/4 of an inch here. So that's a 1/4. Starts at about the same spot. Oh, and I did my numbers wrong earlier. That should have been 5 30 seconds and 6 30 seconds. So you'll actually notice, now that I'm seeing the measurements, those bottom ribs are even the same. The only real difference, even the top one is the same height. It's kind of hard to see in the video. The difference is this middle part. So we know this is a 32nd of an inch. The middle component goes from the base all the way to an inch. So this starts at 1.0. So then this would be 33 30 seconds. And then the top is another 1/4 of an inch, if I'm, or 32nd of an inch. So 34 32. So there we go. Now we've got our official measurements. We've done our first step of our reverse engineer of these pieces. Not going to do the sketching of the top right now, but I'm going to go and flip over to Onshape and get these in real quick. Or I'm going to show you how to do these. So we'll put you on pause 1 second, switch my scenes around. Alright, so now we're back. We are in Onshape. We're going to go ahead and make these bases, our pawn base and our back row base. And I'm going to make these as close as I can. Obviously not with the painted sides, but you'll at least see the shape. So I'm going to head and go create, document. We got a new chess set, so we're going to chess set video Batman just do that. I'm going to put it in my chess set folder. We're going to open it. We're going to create. So since the part we're making is from the top down, we're doing circles. I'm going to click on the top to rotate it. I'm going to get rid of my front and my right. So that way I just have my top plane. I've got my origin circle. It's going to come in handy. So like everything else we've done so far this year, I'm going to start by doing a sketch. I'm going to sketch on the top plane. We'll do a center point circle. I'm going to start with my center point on my origin. I'm just going to draw a circle. The base from where we measured it was 1.5 inches wide. I did not measure how far out those little ribs go. I'm going to envision it's probably a 32nd of an inch just to give it this shape. So my beginning base, so we're going to start with the pawn. It went up 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to sketch 0.25. Or not sketch, extrude new 0.25. So at this point, I've got the beginning of my base. Now I'm going to sketch again. I'm going to sketch on the face of the extrude one. So I clicked on the face. Center point circle across the origin. I'm going to drop the circle in. So if we had a 1.5 inch base, and we're going to say these little ribs are 32nd of an inch, I'm going to say the skinnier part is 1/32 short of that. So 16 would be 1 and 15 32nds. Of course, does not work. So let's grab my calculator. 15 divided by 32, 4.6875. So 1.46875. We're going to extrude that. It went up a 32nd of an inch, so 1/32. Check. We're going to then sketch for the next little one. We're going to face of extrude 2, center point circle. This could win it back out to the full thing, so 1.5. There we go. We're going to extrude that. That went up a 32nd of an inch, so 1/32. Check. If I rotate it a little bit, there we go. We're starting to see the overall shape a little bit. I'm going to go back to the top, get us squared off again. We're going to now make that bigger, chunkier part. We're going to sketch again on the middle, draw our circle, center point circle. This was 1.46875. Oh. Center point circle, 1.46785. Going to extrude that one. So that one went from 6/32 to 25/32, so 19/32 is the difference. 19/32. Check. I'm going to sketch for the top rib, center point circle, 1.5 inches. We're going to extrude that for a 32nd of an inch. Check. And then last but not least, the skinnier little platform at the very top. So 1.46785. Oh, not 10. And we're going to extrude that for a 32nd of an inch. All right, so now I should be able to 3D rotate and essentially see what that base looks like now. So there we go. Going to go ahead and hide that top. There you go. That is move this right here. That is that shape right there. And there you have it. So we're going to hide our video capture again. We're going to clean this up a little bit, so we're going to rename our tab. This is our pawn base. Enter. We're going to rename our part pawn base. Now we're going to make it easier on ourselves since we've got a back row base that is almost identically the same. Just this portion is a different dimension. We're going to duplicate. We're going to rename this back row base. Rename this back row base. And which extrusion? This extrusion. So if you notice when I click and highlight it, or click it, it highlights the piece. So this was a little bit bigger on our back row base. So we're going to double click this. Instead of 1930 seconds, we went from 630 seconds up to 1. So this would be 2632. Did my math right? Yep. You notice it just made that bigger, and then because we were extruding off of faces, everything else bumped up. So now we've got, if I were to go to an assembly tab and insert the two of them side by side, you can visibly see two different heights, and that is what our bases look like. So that is how you make the base. You can give it the little edges. If I wanted to go a little bit further, I could go through, fillet these a little bit. I already have 0.5 inches in there. Might be a little bit too much on fillet too, so if we go, let's say 0.25. And I can just do that all the way around wherever I want to have a round edge. So to make it probably a little bit better, because that just kind of makes these ones look a little bit odd. If I do this one, if you remember, that rib is 1/32 of an inch. So if I go 1/64, that's half of it. And then go to that's 1/64. Now it's got that nice round lip to it. If I do the same for one 1/64, check. Nope. 1/64, check. Now both the top and the bottom have that roundness. I can also change my diameters if I want these to be a little bit bigger. Let's see, if I go here, if I change this 1.5 to say 1.75, it's going to look a little weird, but there you go. Some things you can play with to kind of give it more of the size and shape that you might want versus just going with the flow and what was standard, or what the original one looked like. So there you go. That is the base. We'll come back in the next video and we will do some tops. So stay tuned for video number 3.